What if I told you that paying cash for ammo could soon be a crime? Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But it's happening right here in the United States. States like New Jersey are starting to arrest gun store owners for accepting cash when selling ammunition. Arrests for using the very currency our economy is built on. Think about what this means. A fundamental shift in how we exercise not just our gun rights, but our right to privacy. If you can't use cash for something as basic as buying ammo, what's next? Forced electronic payments? Government monitoring of every purchase you make? Stick with me, because we're going to break this down, from the recent arrests to how it could affect gun owners like you and me across the nation. Trust me, this is something every gun owner needs to hear. Before we dive into the details, let me ask you, how do you usually buy ammo? Are you a cash buyer, someone who prefers the privacy and simplicity of handing over bills? Or do you use a card figuring it's just easier? Let me know in the comments because I'd love to hear your perspective on this. For me, cash has always been the go-to. It's quick, it's easy, and most importantly, it leaves no trail. I've always believed in the principle that some transactions don't need to be anyone else's business. And let's face it, buying ammo is one of those transactions. But here's the thing, this isn't just about convenience or preference, it's about protecting our rights. If we lose the ability to pay for ammo in cash, what else might we lose? That's why this issue hits so close to home for me. So tell me, have you ever run into challenges when trying to buy ammo? Whether it's credit card companies giving you trouble or stores refusing cash, I want to hear your stories. Let's get the conversation going, because this is a fight we can't afford to ignore. Let's take a step back and look at how we got here. For the longest time, cash was king. It was reliable, anonymous, and universally accepted. But over the years, digital payments and electronic transactions have taken over almost every aspect of our economy. And while that might be convenient for some purchases, there are certain things, like guns and ammo, where paying with cash just makes sense. Here's why. Cash doesn't leave a paper trail. It's simple. It's private. When you use cash, there's no third party recording what you bought, where you bought it, or how much you spent. For gun owners like you and me, that privacy is invaluable. It's not just about convenience, it's about protecting ourselves from unnecessary scrutiny. And let's not forget how often that scrutiny turns into overreach. For the last couple of years, I've been hearing stories about credit card companies and banks red flagging gun and ammo purchases. If your spending patterns look suspicious, your account might be flagged, and that information could end up in the hands of law enforcement. It's happened to millions of people already, and I think we can all agree, it's a dangerous trend. But now, we're seeing states take this even further. Some states, like New Jersey and California, have tried to ban cash purchases of ammo altogether. They're not outright calling it a cash ban, of course. Instead, they're tying it to requirements like showing ID for ammo purchases. By making it impossible to meet those requirements when you pay cash, they're effectively forcing gun owners into electronic transactions and all the surveillance that comes with them. This isn't just a technicality, it's a deliberate strategy. They know that most of us would prefer to pay cash for ammo to avoid red flags. By taking away that option, they're putting us in a position where we have no choice but to expose ourselves to financial tracking and potential backlash. And let me be clear, this is about more than just ammo. If we allow cash to be taken off the table for one type of purchase, what's stopping them from doing it with others? This is about control, plain and simple, and it's something every single gun owner in America needs to be paying attention to. Let's start with what's happening right now. In New Jersey, a gun store was recently hit with criminal charges, not for selling illegal weapons, not for breaking any major laws, but simply for accepting cash in exchange for ammo. That's right. The New Jersey Department of Justice has decided that allowing someone to pay cash for bullets is a crime. Let that sink in. Here's how they're doing it. They've tied the requirement for ID when purchasing ammo to an outright cash ban. In other words, if you walk into a store, pay cash, and don't show an ID, the store owner is now breaking the law. It's a sneaky move that combines financial control with regulatory overreach, and honestly, it's chilling. Why does this matter? Well, think about what it means for the average gun owner. If you can't use cash to buy ammo, you're forced into electronic payments that are tracked, monitored, and in some cases flagged. And if you're flagged, that information doesn't just stay with the credit card company. It often gets handed over to law enforcement. This is happening at a time when credit card companies like Visa and MasterCard are already under fire for labeling gun and ammo purchases as suspicious. Millions of red flags are sent out every year to local sheriffs thanks to these policies. And sure, maybe most of those flags don't lead to anything, but do you want to be on that list? I sure don't. And now we're seeing states like New Jersey use this system to chip away at our rights in ways that honestly feel underhanded. If they can control how we buy ammo, they're one step closer to controlling whether we can buy it at all. If you think this sounds extreme, let's talk about how deep this overreach goes. Credit card companies aren't the only ones red flagging gun owners. Financial apps like Venmo, PayPal, and others have outright bans on transactions involving guns and ammo. Try buying a box of 9mm rounds with your PayPal account. It won't happen, and it doesn't stop there. Some banks are now refusing to do business with gun stores entirely. Imagine running a legal business, following all the rules and being told, "Sorry, we can't process your payments because we don't like what you sell." It's not just unfair, it's discrimination against gun owners and the firearms industry. Here's the kicker. These bans and restrictions aren't about stopping crime. Criminals aren't walking into gun stores and paying cash for ammo. This is about control. It's about creating barriers for law-abiding citizens like you and me. And the scariest part? When states enforce cash bans, they're forcing us into a system that makes it easier for them to track, monitor, and ultimately regulate our purchases. Buy a few thousand rounds of ammo, and suddenly you're on someone's radar. Make a couple of big purchases in a short amount of time, and your account might get flagged, or worse, frozen. It's a slippery slope. And the more we let these policies take hold, the closer we get to losing not just our gun rights, but our financial freedom. So I'll ask again, if cash isn't good enough to buy ammo, what's next? Now that we've laid out the problem, let's talk about what we can do about it. Because the truth is, we don't have to sit back and accept this as the new normal. There are ways to push back against these overreaching policies and protect our rights. First and foremost, I'll say it again, use cash whenever possible. If you live in a state where cash is still accepted for ammo purchases, take advantage of it. Every time we choose cash over electronic payments, we're sending a message that we value our privacy and refuse to be forced into a monitored system. But let's go further than that. We need to support businesses and organizations that are fighting these policies head-on. Groups like the NRA, Gun Owners of America, and others are actively working to challenge these restrictions in court. Your membership and contributions can make a real difference. Another critical step? Stay informed. Laws and regulations around firearms and ammo change constantly, often with little notice. Sign up for alerts from your favorite advocacy groups or local gun shops. Make sure you know what's happening in your state so you're not caught off guard by new restrictions. It's also important to reach out to your elected officials. I know it might feel like a drop in the bucket, but contacting your representatives really does matter. Let them know that these cash bans and financial restrictions are unacceptable. The more they hear from people like us, the harder it becomes for them to ignore our concerns. Finally, don't underestimate the power of community. Talk to your friends, family, and fellow gun owners about what's happening. Share videos like this one, start conversations, and spread the word. The more people understand what's at stake, the stronger our resistance will be. So here's my challenge to you. Take one action today. Whether it's using cash for your next ammo purchase, joining a gun rights group, or even just sharing this video with a friend, do something. Together we can push back against this financial control and ensure that our Second Amendment rights remain intact. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever run into issues buying ammo with cash? Maybe a store refused to take it, or you felt pressured to use a card instead. Share your experiences in the comments below, because this conversation isn't just about what's happening to me or to someone in New Jersey. It's about all of us. And for those of you in states like California, New York, or New Jersey, I'd love to know, what does this look like where you are? Are stores enforcing cash bans, or is this something you've heard about but haven't seen firsthand? Your input matters. It's easy to feel like we're fighting these battles alone, but when we come together and share our stories, it reminds us that we're part of a larger community. So, drop a comment and let me know how these policies are affecting you. And while you're at it, if you've got tips for navigating these restrictions, don't keep them to yourself. Help your fellow gun owners out. So, here's where we stand. If we allow cash bans and financial controls to dictate how we buy ammo, we're setting a dangerous precedent. not just for gun rights, but for freedom itself. When the US dollar isn't good enough to purchase basic goods like ammunition, that's a red flag we can't ignore. It's clear that this isn't just a New Jersey problem or a California issue. It's a fight that could come to every state sooner than we think. That's why we need to stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, stay united. If this video resonated with you, do me a favor. Hit that like button and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. This channel is all about standing up for our rights, and I'd love for you to join the conversation. Finally, remember, every small action matters. Whether it's using cash, supporting advocacy groups, or just spreading the word, we all have a role to play in defending our freedoms. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay sharp, stay safe, and keep holding the line for freedom. I'll see you in the next one.